Alright, so now we have the killer setup as well. It's time to spawn and get more gameplay action. So let's get into our gameplay, and we'll need a couple of variables to get started. So the first one would be spawn range, which will be a type of float. Next will be spawn height, that's the height from which the killers will be spawned. Then there will be impulse, that will be the force that will added to make the game progress difficulty. Then next one would be max impulse, so that's the maximum impulse value can be. Next there will be impulse amount, so that's the increment of impulse that will be added when you collect each. And last one will have luck percentage, which will be of type float. Let's make it integer, and that luck percentage is which color it will select on spawn. When we work the function, you will understand why we are creating this luck function. So let's now create a function to spawn the killers. So we'll right click, add custom event, we'll name that spawn killer. Alright, first of all we'll get a random integer in range. That range will be 0 to, let's make it 1 to 100, so that's a possible of 100 answers or 100 integers. Now we're gonna get luck percentage, get, and check if this random is lesser than equal to luck percentage. So that gives us 50% chance, 50-50. Now we'll drag this pin here into a branch, connect it here. So if it's true, we need one more variable over here. We'll call that new random color, which will be a type linear color. Compile, save. Alright, and we'll say if the value is lesser than the percentage, true, we'll set the new random color as the player color. And if it's false, then we'll call the get random color function, and we'll set the new random color to be that random color we get from the function. Now we'll spawn actor of class, and that will be of type killer. We'll connect this here, and for the spawn transform we'll split this, so we have location, rotation and scale as different transforms, and location itself will split again, so we have X, Y and Z. So now for the X and Y values, we need to get random values on stage. So let's see what values we can get. So if you select our player right now and move him in Y value, we can see around 500 is the range. Minus 500 to 500 is a good range for the killers to spawn, and in the X it's same again, 500 to minus 500. So let's use those values in here. So for the range, spawn range, we'll specify at 500, and for the height, let's specify it as 1400. Now height we can directly plug into the Z. And for the range, let's do a bit of calculation. So we need random float in range, and we'll need 2 of those. So for the min value, let's get range. So that's the max for both x and y is the 500, and for the min we need minus of the same value. So what we can do is we can drag and multiply by -1, not the integer, minus float minus, no, we'll let multiply float into float, and we'll have this as -1. So that will be the negative 500, and that will go in min here and here. Alright, and that goes into x and into y. Now remember, when we created these two variables, we specified them to be exposed on spawn. So now in our gameplay we have both of them available, so we can put the values. So impulse will directly go into impulse, get impulse, and color will be this new random color we are getting, either the color of the player or a random color. So let's plug that here, new random color, and we'll add it here. And like we discussed in the last video, it's best practice to select everything and press C to comment. We'll call this spawn killer with random color or player color with impulse, and we'll have the screen. Now we have created these functions, we are not calling it anywhere, so nothing will happen at the moment. So what we can do is we can create another function, our event, we'll call it add custom event, and we're gonna call it start game. So what start game does for now is, we don't have a HUD to control the start game, so for now we'll just give a 1 second delay, and we will call spawn killer. Alright, we can comment this start game, and yellow, since it is not, it needs a bit of tweaking once we have more codes coming, so we know this will change in future. So on initialize, we can, for now we'll add one more pin and we'll say start game. So if you compile and play, we will have one killer falling. Okay, that's not working. Let's see why it's not working. Alright, let's see. Okay, we need to connect this pin here also. So in both cases, if it's less or equal to 50 or greater, we need to spawn the killer. One more thing what we can do is, instead of playing in the default viewport, we can click this and select new editor window. So now we can see a random color ball spawning every time you play. So that's it for this video. In the next video we'll take the gameplay further.